Hey gang, it's Brian from FX Billiards. Today I'm going to go over some 9-ball break and runs with you. And wanted to know that I'm using a magic rack on these. I've been testing this thing out. I really like it. Those of you not familiar with it, it's just a piece of plastic with holes slit in it for the balls to rest in. And it ensures that that you get a good tight rack every time. So that shot on the 2-ball, I just shot with a little bit of follow to get near the middle of the table. This shot on the 3, I'm going to shoot with high right-hand English to come off of those 2 rails to get position on the 5-ball. The 4-ball was made on the break. And I just roll out probably a little bit further than I needed to. You try not to hit balls unless you're going to move them in better position, and just kind of tag that 6-ball. So it was a non-event. But here, I shot with high left-hand English to come around table to get straight down the road on this 6-ball. Now, some players, when they see a ball sitting in front of the pocket like that, they want to shoot it in that pocket. It was so close to the side pocket. But keep in mind, you want to get position on the 7-ball, and that was just the easiest pattern for me at the time. So here I play the 7-ball with a little bit of left-hand English just to come back to the middle of the table. If you're not sure where you want to go on a shot, get to the middle of the table, and that's something you guys should practice on a regular basis. And then just a stop shot here on the 8, I'm pretty much straight in, and a layup on the 9-ball. So that's our first break and run. And in case I didn't mention it, normally you would take up the magic rack as soon as you don't have a ball sitting on it. So normally it would come off the table right here because you'd be able to pick it up around that 9-ball. I tend to, when I'm playing alone, leave it on the table until I know that the cue ball or the object ball is going to cross it. But obviously, if you're in a competition, you have to take it up as soon as possible because you don't know what the other guy is going to do. You might know your patterns, but you don't know his. So here I'm playing the 2-ball with quite a bit of draw to get back on the 4-ball. I ended up colliding with the 9-ball, and I think that was a mistake. I think I was just trying to get back on the 4 and ended up hitting the 9. And that shot actually was totally intentional. I had a nice angle to come off the rail. A lot of times on those types of draw shots, I'll bounce off the rail to get position on the object ball, and that's what I did there. So a little bit of draw to get a really nice line on the 6-ball. My thinking right now is just make the 6. Everything else is going to be a layup. So, a lot of times guys are thinking too far ahead and they'll mess up their run out. And you can see there that I hit that 9-ball again. Again, that was a mistake. And you just need to be able to recover from these things. You do something stupid like that, you need to recover. So I'm going to hit that with high right-hand English, and you can see I'm headed right towards that side pocket. So one mistake became another mistake, which became another mistake. And if it wasn't, I had a decent ability to recover, but that really was an easy run out that could have been destroyed just by me making a couple stupid mistakes. So pay attention even when it looks simple. I am as guilty as anybody of making mistakes when the run out is really simple. So don't take any of these run outs that you might have for granted. So there was a little tiny bit of draw on the 1-ball. Now I've got the 3. I have to get up stable on the 4. So you can see I use a follow shot. I don't try to get too much out of the 4-ball. I want to have an angle. I want to be on the left-hand side of the 4 so that I can come up and get that 5-ball. So I'm looking now to see if the 4 is going to allow me to pass in front of or behind of that 8-9. And clearly it was easy enough to go behind them, which was a lot better because I risked colliding with the 5-ball if I went any other direction. Here, I believe we're going to see a little bit of a draw. I like to draw off rails like that. Like I was saying earlier, you just have a lot more control. And with the use of English, you can move closer or further away from a particular area of the table. So by using that left-hand English, I got a much better position on the 6-ball, which gave me the angle that I wanted on the 8 and 9. So this is pretty elementary. The reason I didn't remove the magic rack here is because it was sitting on, or the 9-ball was sitting on the magic rack. So here we have our next rack, and I make the one in the side, which is my usual break. I'm trying to make that one ball in the side pocket. I know a lot of guys shoot for the wing ball. My main thought is to play that one in the side, because if I don't make the one in the side, it usually ends up at the end of the table that I broke from, so the head spot. And I try to keep my cue ball down that end as well. So here I just tap in the 2 ball, which is sitting in front of the pocket, and we have the 4 ball, which is not quite sitting in the pocket, but is just outside the pocket here. So I hit it with some draw to keep from scratching and to get a bit of an angle on the 5 ball. And this is a relatively easy run. The 2 was in the pocket, the 4 was in the pocket, the 8 and the 7 are in the pocket, but you got to get on this 6 ball. So you need to make sure that even though it looks easy, that you are paying attention to every shot. Don't just take these things for granted, as I said before. So this is really the only difficult shot here. I've got a good key ball with the 8 ball. I know that I'm going to get position on the 9 without much trouble. The 7 is sitting in the pocket, so I have to pay attention to this, you guys. Don't take these shots for granted. Now, I take a more advanced and extreme route by shooting that draw shot off the 7 ball, but a lot of beginners, I would recommend just come off the rail and come off of 2 rails and get position on that 8 ball. The 9 ball was a give me. Like I said, the 8 was a really easy key ball to work with. That 9 ball shot, I knew exactly where the cue ball was going, but you don't need to hit those shots so hard that you end up at the opposite end of the table. So there's that one in the side shot one more time, and I'm fortunate enough to have the cue ball down this end of the table with the 2. I'm going to make a video where I teach you guys how to rack in order to get the balls in a specific order or a specific area of the table. And I don't use that rack pattern when I'm making these videos. I want it to be as random as possible. But had I used the pattern that I'm going to show you in a future video, the 2 ball would have been down the opposite end of the table. So here I'm just playing the 4, played a nice little touch shot on the 2 to get position on the 4. The 5 looks like a challenge. So I'm just working out a strategy now to play the 5. I realize I might have to get on this opposite end of the 5 in order to play it. So I'm going to come down table, and like I said, I'm going to have to shoot in the opposite direction. It did not pass the 9, and it was difficult enough to not be able to get in position because that 6 ball was a little bit too much traffic to get on the other side. So I play a bank shot there. A lot of guys are scared of bank shots, but I don't know, I don't really mind them at all. And then here I have to play another bank because the 6 does not pass the 9. Now, I did a video on getting position from your bank shots, but there are cases where your bank shot is just too difficult to make the shot and get position. So sometimes you're going to have to wing it. And there I shot that 7 ball shot with draw to take it off that side, that long rail. But back to the bank shots with position. If you can't calculate the position with your bank shots, but you're playing a game like 9 ball and the balls are spread all over the table, go ahead and make the shot first and then worry about it, because if the balls are spread out wide and you don't get position, you're probably going to have a shot on your ball. Now, if they're clustered or they're in a special situation that might be more difficult, then you're not going to take the shot. So there, I made the 1 ball. As expected, I came off the long rail on our left-hand side and made it in that corner. Like I said, when it doesn't go in that side pocket, it tends to go up table off of that rail, and that's exactly what happened. So a very easy shot on the 2 ball to get position on the 4. Other than the 1 ball, the 3 ball went in on the break. Just a little bit of follow on that 4 ball. Now here I'm thinking, okay, I got to get down table for the 6, but I didn't have any other pattern, so I'm going to shoot one of my favorite shots here and just push it off the rail with a little bit of stun to get on the 6, which sets me up for showtime. I really love these long draw shots, but I got to tell you guys, if you have a choice between draw and follow, you want to take follow. So let's see how I played it. Looks like I'm going to go with the draw. And this shot could have been handled a couple different ways. Because I had a slight angle, I could have tried to come off with 3 rails to play the 7, but I also risk scratching in this the pocket that I'm shooting from right now if I came off with 3 rails. So the draw shot actually was the proper play. And there's more than one way to skin a cat, and a lot of people would play these same runouts differently. I mean, some of the patterns are very obvious, and everybody that is a relatively high-ranked player would have played them all the same. But then I have a layup here on the 9 ball. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. And here's a brief commercial from my girl, Kathy.
We at FX Billiards are very excited to offer you access to FX Billiards memberships. As a member, you will receive special perks available to members only. Just hit the Join button to see the different membership options available. Thank you for watching and supporting FX Billiards and the game of pool.